What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another Pitching Ninja's Filthiest Pitches of the Day. Remember, before we get to those pitches, do me a favor and do yourself a favor. Hit that subscribe button. Join the biggest and best daily baseball show on YouTube. And now, without further ado, here are my filthiest pitches of the day. I'm going to start with Jordan Montgomery, who had 6 Ks in 6 2/3 innings, giving up 1 earned run. His curveballs were particularly nasty this game, and he also had these fastballs. He faced Framber Valdez, who had 6 Ks in 6 innings, giving up 4 runs. Valdez had his own filthy curveballs, and you can see why it's so tough to hit from this home plate view. That ball just disappears. He also had this painted two-seamer. Ranger Suarez had 8 Ks in 7 1/3 innings, giving up only 1 run, and had this sinker, changeup, and cutter. He faced Jemison Tyone, who had 8 Ks in 5 innings, gave up 5 runs, and had these breaking balls. David Peterson had 5 Ks in 6 innings, and he gave up no runs, and had this curveball, this slider, and this back foot slider for a KO. Ninja referee Steve Willis, count this man out. He faced Julio Teheran, who had this changeup but gave up 7 runs on 4 home runs. Guardians rookie Gavin Williams was outstanding yesterday with 6 strikeouts and 7 scoreless innings, giving up only 1 hit. As I mentioned after his last outing, expect big things from Gavin Williams. He had these fastballs, this inadvertently painted fastball, and he also had these hammer curveballs. Look at that 12-6 action. He faced Brady Singer, who had 3 Ks in 6 innings, giving up no runs. He picked up one of those Ks on this Brady sinker. Oh, that's bad. And another on this slider. Clayton Kershaw had 2 Ks in 6 innings, giving up only 1 hit and no runs. He lowered his ERA to 2.55. And according to FanDuel's odds, he's the second favorite in the Cy Young race now. Kershaw, of course, had his Cooperstown curveballs, as well as this filthy slider. Martin Perez had 4 Ks in 6 innings, giving up 2 runs, and had this cutter and two-seamer. He faced Matt Manning, who had 4 Ks in 5 2/3 innings, giving up 2 runs, and had these fastballs. Andrew Abbott, another young stud, had 8 Ks in 6 innings, giving up 1 run on 2 hits. He had these fastballs, sliders, and changeup, and got this filthy pitch timer K. He faced Tyler Wells, who also was really good, with 7 Ks in 6 innings, giving up 2 runs, and had these fastballs, changeups, and cutters, including this beautifully painted backdoor cutter. Wells is a vastly underrated pitcher. Sandy Alcantara took a step in the right direction with 5 Ks in 7 innings, giving up only 1 run. He had this fastball and slider, and he had these filthy changeups that look like prime Sandy Alcantara changeups. Hopefully this outing turns the season around. He faced Garrett Whitlock, who had 7 Ks in 4 2/3 innings, but gave up 6 runs, and had this two-seamer and sweeper. Mariners rookie Bryan Woo looked really good again yesterday with 7 Ks in 5 innings, giving up only 1 earned run. Woo relied on his mix of fastballs, changeups, sliders, as well as a pitch timer K. And every one of these Ks deserves a Ric Flair woo! It fires me up in the morning. Woo battled Jake Irvin, who had 4 Ks in 5 2/3 innings, giving up 3 runs, and had these fastballs. Bryce Elder had 4 Ks in 6 innings, giving up 2 runs, and had these filthy sliders. He not only had a great offense supporting him, but this great defense. Teamwork will make the dream work. Quick thinking by Ozzie Albies. Elder outdueled Joe Ryan, who had 5 Ks in 3 innings, but gave up 6 earned runs, including an amazing 5 home runs. The Braves booth had Big Boy in it earlier this year. It really needed DJ Khaled this time.
Another one. Another one.
Joe Ryan did get Ks on his splitter and sweeper. In what I expected to be a great pitching matchup, but ended up fizzling out, Taj Bradley battled Zach Gallen. Bradley had 2 Ks in 4 innings, but gave up 4 home runs, leading to 6 earned runs. He did have this pretty curveball, but unfortunately his 2 Ks cost me my parlay yesterday because I had him for 6 Ks. I did have Gavin Williams and Ohtani right, but 2 out of 3 is bad. And he faced Zach Gallen, who had 4 Ks in 6 innings, but gave up 4 runs and had these cutters. Dick Mountain had 4 Ks in 6 innings, giving up 4 runs, and had this cutter and this vicious breaking ball to Soto. Paul Blackburn had 5 Ks in 5 1/3 innings, giving up 1 run, and relied on his two-seamer and nasty breaking balls. Another quiet, good outing for Paul Blackburn. He faced Johnny Brito, who had 2 Ks, one of them on this changeup for a sword. Ryan Walker was the opener yesterday and had 3 Ks in his only inning of work thanks to these sinkers and slider. He faced yesterday's co-filthiest starting pitcher of the day, Kevin Gausman, who had 12 strikeouts in 6 innings, giving up only 1 run. Gausman relied mostly on his fastballs, more like Kevin Gassman, and a bunch of those fastballs were taken in the zone. He also, of course, had his dirty splitters and nasty slider and picked up his 1500th K of his career this game. I mentioned that Gausman was picking up a bunch of backward Ks on fastballs, and I thought this overlay shows why. Hitters were laying off his splitter, especially when it started down. So when he tunneled a fastball with that splitter, the hitter would think it was another splitter, didn't want to get fooled again, so they got fooled differently. Because if it was a fastball, it would end up as a backwards K. Michael Kopech had 3 Ks in 4 innings, but gave up 7 walks, leading to only 2 runs though. Kopech got 1 of his Ks on this wicked curveball. And he faced yesterday's other co-filthiest starting pitcher of the day, Shohei Ohtani. Shohei had 10 Ks in 6 1/3 innings, giving up 1 run on 4 hits. Ohtani relied on these fastballs, which were upper 90s and overpowering, as well as his cutter. And I love this one, where Wallach catches the foul tip, and Shohei seems really impressed. Did you catch it? Whoa. And then Shohei had this cutter, where TA was literally punched out. The pitches of the game for Shohei were his splitters. He had 5 whiffs out of 6 swings on his splitter, for an 83% whiff rate, and picked up a sword. Shohei totally changed up his pitch mix this game and only threw 8 sweepers. Earlier in the season, he was throwing over 40% sweepers in games. But that sweeper was still filthy, and he even got a swing on this sweeper that was actually pretty terrible, but still picked up a K. Shohei also had this 69-mile-an-hour curveball for a ball. That just goes to prove even Shohei's balls are nice. Ninja phrasing. Here's an overlay of Shohei's fastball and splitter, and it shows you just why that splitter is so tough to hit. It comes in looking just like that fastball and then totally disappears. And Shohei, of course, wasn't just a pitcher this game. He hit not 1, but 2 home runs, extending his lead in the MLB home run race, with 28 on the year so far. My favorite part of this game was after Shohei's first home run. Since Shohei was pitching, when he got to the dugout, instead of giving high fives, he gave virtual high fives, because he wanted to preserve his pitching arm and not get too tired out. He also gave the Kabuto, the homer helmet, to his interpreter, Ippei, who was freaking styling in it. And then after Shohei was removed from this game as a pitcher due to a cracked nail, he hit another home run. And this time, since he wasn't pitching, it's high five for everybody, and even included a virtual picture. Even Shohei's home run celebrations are becoming legendary. Now on to my filthiest relievers. Chris Davinsky had this fastball and slider and got a big punch out on that fastball. I thought for a second it was going to be a kick out. Lucas Ursig had these fastballs. Jake Diekman K'd the side with his fastball, cutter, and sweeper. Craig Kimbrell had these fastballs. Touki Toussaint had this filthy splitter. Jordan Weems had these heaters. Gregory Soto had this 99-mile-an-hour diesel as well as this slider. Tommy Kahnle had this fastball and nasty changeup. Alex Wood came in as the bulk guy and had 7 Ks in 5 innings, giving up no runs, relying mostly on his funky windup, his fastballs, and his changeup. Andres Munoz had these sliders. Nate Pearson had this hammer. Camilo Doval had these sliders and this heater. Jordan Hicks had this beautiful 100-mile-an-hour backdoor sinker. Look at that. And my filthiest reliever of the day, for the second time this week, was Tyler Rogers, who had 4 Ks in 1 2/3 innings, relying mostly on his frisbee sliders, including this sick rising slider as well as this White Castle special. Total UFOs by Rogers. And now, my Pitching Ninja moment of zen. You may remember that Jesse Chavez hurt his leg after getting hit by a comebacker, but that didn't stop him from celebrating the Braves' home runs. He definitely got a little carried away. Boo. What is up, everybody? My picks of the day today are a three-leg parlay. I'm going to start with Aaron Nola for 6 Ks or more, then take Mitch Keller for 6 Ks or more, and top it off with Kodai Senga for 7 Ks or more. What would your picks of the day be?